Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday at noon, and you're here with Ashley Schmidt. And I wanted to talk to you today about the secret of 1K per month with low contact books. Okay, the secret, right? What is the secret? So that's something I wanted to talk about today. I don't see anybody in the live chat. I know I was a few minutes late, but I was a few minutes early and I kind of messed up and then I had to reset it. Anyway, so I'll delete the 7-second video I had about 5 minutes ago. So hey everybody. So the secret of 1K per month with low contact books. Everyone wants to know what the secret is. Everyone wants to get to that 1K or 10K, all those different numbers. But I know a lot of people are just searching for a few hundred to $1,000 a month. So what is that secret? Um, Surprisingly, I don't know if any of you have ever listened to Earl Nightingale and Lead the Field. If you haven't, it's fantastic. I listened to the original versions. I don't think it's actually written down. It's actually on. Hey, let's see. Oh, I'm gonna say that right. Hi, Laura, and hi, Emran. I'm Emran. Hey, you too. So this, the Lead the Field. So if you haven't heard it, it was originally recorded on records, and you've got a record a month. This was in the I think 40s and 50s. I think it was the 50s that Earl Nightingale came out with Lead the Field, and you got a record a month. And so I listened to the original Lead the Field on CD a while ago. They've actually updated it, and it's on Audible. So if you are an Audible member, I highly recommend it. What I love about Earl Nightingale is he takes the ideas of that a few things. One, that everyone else can succeed, but somehow I can't. And he tries to say why you feel that way. It's because you see everyone doing these amazing things, and for some reason you feel you can't do that. But that's just it's a perspective. And he tries to say, here's how you can kind of take control of your life and do the things you want to do. He's really big on taking control of your life and making it what you want. Anyway, so one of his first chapters, I don't remember his first, second chapter, is it's called The Strangest Secret. I guess he had an initial thing about that. And the strangest secret is that you become what you think about. And that sounds really, how do you apply that to low contact books? How does that even relate to 1K per month? Well, that's the secret. If you want to make 1,000 or whatever you want to make for low content books, you need to apply that. You need to think about it and come up with creative and innovative ideas and continually work and work and work. And that sounds really hard. So another thing he says is, let's see, what is it? So there was a man, and he was a successful entrepreneur and restaurateur at some point in time. But they asked, when did you know you were a success? And he said, I was successful when I was sleeping on a park bench because I knew where I wanted to go and I had a plan to get there. And so that's how you make it to 1K per month. That's how you get there. You just have to keep going. You have to keep trying. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. So there's 3 parts to this, at least what I feel. And this is what I think people fall short on, like the second and the third part. The first part is you've got to produce books, right? If you want to make money on low contact books, you've got to produce books. You've got to put them out there into the world. And I think a lot of people, that's not so hard for them. There's 2 leaps. I think the second is the sticking point. Is one, you've got to give up control. So produce books. And the second, this is hard for a lot of people. You've got to give up control. And there are some ways to gain back control, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But you've got to give up your idea of timeline. Oh, if I make 1,000 books, I'll be making $1,000 per month. If I do this, I will have this. You can't focus on that. You have to give up some control of that. You can't just decide, hey, I'm going to make, 1,000 books. And you have to give up your idea of a timeline. It is completely possible to do it in a month, a year. Timelines completely vary based upon the person, circumstance. There's so many things, but you have to give up some control of what you think is the exact right answer. And you got to, in some sense, gamble a little. You've got to just know that if you keep working and keep trying, eventually this will be possible. This was my sticking point. Now I'm going to be very honest. My sticking point was I had it in my head that if I did so many books or it was too much work or I hated putting something out there into the world that was going to sit there and no one was going to buy. That really bothered me. I hated spending my time on something with no results. I'm a very results action oriented person. I'm very, set a goal, you make the goal, you achieve the goal, right? That's me. I'm an overachiever. I'll admit it. I am an absolute overachiever. I'm one of those people. Um, but this low content books, my sticking point for about a year was giving them control. I had to realize that I was going to put things into the world that nobody wanted. And that was okay. That's what I had to get. I had to be okay with that. Now, there's the opposite end of the coin where people take it on blind faith and they say, yes, I believe the system will work. And they put out thousands and thousands and thousands of things that are honestly kind of horrible. I saw people, and if this is one of you, I'm so sorry, but you can't just stick a picture of something on a black background and put like a title on it and think people are going to buy that. I literally saw an author page that had at least 1,000 of I don't know, photos, Pixabay, something, and he literally just stuck a photo on it. And I guess that's crossing your fingers and hoping. It's not effective use of your time. Don't do that, please. Definitely put some stuff out there that's maybe risky or you think, oh, it might work, it might not, but don't be doing thousands of them, 10 maybe. don't be putting a ton of stuff out there that's people don't want to buy. You have to be okay with people not buying your stuff because it's a process of learning. So give up control. Don't be over controlling like me. And don't go with the blind faith option, which is just put a bunch of stuff up there and cross your fingers, because that's not going to work either. There is some ways in the middle. Okay. And you've got to kind of do that. Now, this is really, I think, the secret of it. Number 3, you have to step back and analyze your results and then learn from those results, right? You have to take a step back, look at what is selling. And let's go with what if you're selling, just not a ton of stuff, but you're selling. What is selling? Why is it selling? Really sit and think about this. Don't just say, oh, this is selling. So I had a notebook that I think it didn't sell at all. I put it out in, I don't know, July, no, probably maybe early September, August, early September. And it didn't sell anything until Christmas hit. And then it started to sell like crazy. And then from since then, it started to sell more and more. So I think for the thing that knocked that kind of moved it along was those Christmas presents. So the next year, what I decided to do was a similar notebook focused on a certain same topic, but focused a little bit differently. And I rearranged it. And then I targeted it specifically for that Christmas giving niche. And that one actually outsold the first one. So I specifically decided to put it late, September, October. I tried to run up some sales by getting Amazon AMS, putting some AMS on it, algorithms to specifically target Christmas. And I was targeting Christmas in October. I wasn't putting a lot of money on it, but I was specifically trying to get Amazon to realize under this niche with Christmas gift, Christmas present, that I wanted the train basically Amazon's algorithm to show this to that particular group of people. And it worked. I was shocked at how well it worked. So sometimes you've got to step back and analyze your results and think a little creatively, think a little outside the box. To implement that strategy, I had to wait till the next year. It wasn't like after Christmas, I could say, oh, great, let's target Christmas presents right now. That wouldn't work. I guess you could, but I don't know that's an effective use of your time or money. So I specifically tried to put it out at a certain time and do that. How do you train the algorithm? That's something we're going to talk about in just a minute. So selling, training the algorithm. Okay, so that's advertising. We'll talk about that in just a sec. So look at your keywords. Why is it selling? Look at what is selling. Why is it selling? Was it Christmas that tipped it off? Was it your keywords? Was it a certain type of year? I know you don't know exactly, but you can kind of make some guess based on, yes, I did train myself. Well, actually, I read a little bit into the background of Amazon's algorithm and how Amazon's algorithm worked. So it's pretty simple. Most things as for Amazon's algorithm, and we'll talk about it in a sec. Sorry, I don't want to get too off my thoughts. So look at why it's selling. Be creative. Think outside the box. Is it selling because of the design? Is it selling because of the niche? You know, you want to try some things within what is selling that you can expand upon. And that's what's really hard, because people just want to say, oh, what's the best niche? What should I do? What will I make sales on? I don't know. It totally depends for you. You've probably heard this from everybody. What works for you will not necessarily work for someone else. It could, but why spend time worrying about and chasing what other people are doing? Figure out what's working for you. Now, if you aren't getting any sales at all, you have to step back and analyze, start going through the number one bestsellers for those sort of niches, and look at the covers, look at what's inside, start deciding what's different from theirs to yours. And not just like in sense of copying, like obviously your design has to be a little bit different. But if you're just sticking a picture on a black background and no one else is in that niche, then you're probably not going to sell. So look, go to bookstores. If you can't go to a bookstore like Barnes & Noble, you don't have one by you, I'm sure there's a YouTube video of somebody wandering around Barnes & Noble looking at stuff. Or, you know, there's pictures. There's things out there. There's ways. You have to spend a little bit of time. You have to put some time into it. And this is what I think people are not willing to do. They're not willing to step back and do that analysis. Do some math too. Decide what are your best sellers per amount of time. I have ones that I make $350, $360 on per book. So I decided to focus my time more on those rather than some of my ones that were making $2. So that was kind of a math analysis. So you have to really think outside the box in analysis. Why is it selling? What could you do? What looks different from your books in that niche as to what looks good? What's inside of yours that's not inside of theirs, not inside of yours? Or what are you adding to it? How are you making it a better product than what's out there, rather than just a different product that won't necessarily sell because it's not what people are looking for? You don't have to go crazy. You want to be within the niche, but you want it to stand out in the sense of really sharp and really professional looking. Okay, so Amazon advertising. I know this is a big thing. So how Amazon, you're never going to know how it works. It's proprietary. No one's going to tell you. But the basics of it it's pretty obvious. Your bestseller rank is based on what you sell, like what sells and how many sales you get, right? Okay, well, how does Amazon decide to show your product? Well, keywords, definitely. That's something that's there. And as you get it's not just about the keywords. They show it. And then as you get conversions, as people buy it, then Amazon algorithm learns, hey, these keywords, this results in a customer purchasing something. So we're going to give it higher favor. So how do you train Amazon's algorithm to recognize your stuff? Some of my most successful low content books that were very, very niche specific, I've trained with Amazon ads. So I'll go in and I'm not spending a ton of money. And some experiments work and some don't. Like if I spend more than, I decide on the book, but I usually try not to spend more than $10. I did at Christmas time spend $50 on one book, and I probably broke even. But about $10. Some it's just $1. It kind of depends. But if it's very niche specific, I spent time on the interior. It's very focused. I'll spend up to $10 trying to train Amazon to realize that you should show this to this customer. So decide what your ideal customers are, what they would type into Amazon, keywords, phrases, those long tail keywords you read about. You type into Amazon and it shows the before and after of what customers type in. And you train the algorithm by purchases. Now, if you don't get purchases, so say you're running ads and you get a lot of clicks, but no purchases, there's a few reasons that's going to actually kind of backfire and train the algorithm that not to show it. So there's a few things you can do. One, maybe you're targeting the wrong keywords, right? So people see it and they think it's what they want, but it's not. Two, your sales page. A typo or two is okay, but please, you want it to be pretty. Look into Kindlepreneur has an HTML converter. You can use basic HTML. I think Kindlepreneur, if you just type in Google Kindlepreneur HTML converter or something like that, they will show you. So my general formula is a bold question. So I ask, if you're trying to solve people's problems sometimes in low content books. So I say, it's a book about hiking, recording your hikes, right? Do you want to record your hikes? Um, that's the problem, right? So I put like in bold, do you want to require your hikes? Then I say like, then this is the hiking logbook for you, right? And then that's all in bold. And then I'll say this journal or this whatever includes, and then you do bullet points, right? You do not want long sentences. People don't want to watch long sentences. They just want to see bullet points. They want to see kind of what size it is. But I always make a reference. People may not know what 6x9 looks like. So I say, 6x9 fits easily into your purse or your bag, something like that. 8x10 fits easily into a backpack. 8x10 is a common size for kids, and an 8x10 will fit into some of the kids' smaller backpacks, whereas an 8.5x11 will not fit into the smaller backpacks. It'll definitely fit into an adult or a bigger backpack. So I mentioned that sort of thing so that they can understand what that size means. And then, just some bullet points about what's inside. Definitely include some of the points of what's in your interior, and then finish it off with, this is a great gift for yourself or the hiking lover in your life. And then make sure in bold to do grab a copy today and start recording your hike. So grab a copy today and give it as a gift for that hiking lover in your life or whatever, right? You want to tell them to buy it, put it in your cart, click the buy button, something. You want to say something, tell them what to do. They've just read your sales. If they actually got to the bottom, it'd be good. And then I like to bold it and italicize it on the bottom. So that's kind of my method of doing it. That can help with your conversions. So that's another way to help Amazon train that algorithm of Amazon to say that, oh, this person read it, they bought it, and you got to give people information so that they decide to buy it. Another great way is you can try putting pictures of the interiors on the back cover. Just take screenshots and make them small, and you can show a few example pictures on the back cover of what's inside so that people can look at that. The look inside feature doesn't work on mobiles. It does for my Android, but I think it's because I always go through the web page and I never use the Amazon app because I hate the Amazon app. I like Amazon, but I hate their app on the phone. Sorry, I live by an airport. You can hear the planes coming by. I live by Langley, so I get to hear F-15s and F-22s all the time. Very loud F-22s. Let's see. So you can definitely do that to help conversion. So conversion is important for Amazon to increase the likelihood they are going to show it, because the more conversions you get, the more likely it is to show. Amazon ads work great for that. If you haven't tried it, you can also try Amazon. If you've got a series of books, like travel books or something, or a series of hiking books, different types of hiking books or something, you can put them together and do a banner ad. I found they're decently effective. I don't spend a lot on them. I spend like 10, 15 cents. And they tend to do, once you get that dialed in, you get the right keywords for those, they tend to do pretty well. Sometimes I spend more than maybe I should. I definitely break even, but almost always I make a profit on those. But it increases the rank of my books so that when someone does an organic search for based on the keywords I put in, it is more likely to show up in an organic search as well. It kind of keeps the algorithm interested, right? Because I'm continually getting a trickle of sales. But the banner ads are pretty good if you can get those. I'm not sure, honestly, look into that. I have 4 different AMS accounts, and I think I can only do that on one of my accounts. I set this one up a long time ago, so I'm not positive everyone has access to that or not. So look into that, and I could probably look into it too. But those are effective as far as continue dripping to continue to keep interest in your books. So that is some, like I said, you have to give up control, but you can take back some control by doing effective, doing your research and saying, okay, these are what people want. There's not like 10,000 of them in the market. I'm going to try and do this. And especially if you're targeting a smaller niche, the Amazon ads are really effective in getting it right in front of your audience. If it's super niche, I have one book that does really well. It's super niche. They're only people who, I didn't run ads on it because the only people who would find it are the people typing this into Amazon. But it doesn't get a huge lot of sales, but I didn't bother with ads because it didn't make any sense. I was going to show up at the very first anyway, because it was the only, I think there's two whole books in that niche. But it's kind of a weird thing anyway. And that goes to show you, I hadn't even thought about this weird niche until I tried to make a present for someone. So I made a present for someone and I was like, oh, there's me and one other person in this niche. So you never know. Expand your horizons as far as what you can do. Questions. Does that help? Does that make sense? Like I said, success is, everyone can succeed in low content books. You just have to look for a need and keep going along and keep plugging along. And 1K is not unobtainable. It is actually fairly easy. And I don't even think 10K is unobtainable. I do think for 10K, you have to use much different strategies, right? You have to be willing to advertise. You have to be willing to put out some money to make money back. So, but that's okay, because, if you're making 5,000 a month, you're definitely, or even if you're making 1,000 a month, you're willing to spend $100 on advertising. Scale that up. I spent about $100 on advertising during the year, and then during Christmas, 500 to 700. And I definitely get a return on my money. So I start ramping up in November. So I spend like 300 in November and December. In November, I hit my ads hard, so that by December, I've spent like $700 or something like that. And that's worthwhile because of the sales I see. But that's kind of, I know what I'm doing. So if you're going to work with Amazon advertising, definitely get some stuff selling so that you can start knowing how it works. Or you can just be willing to, something that's very niche, willing to spend $10 on and test out how it works. And there's no better way than saying that advertising is testing. You can not like math, you can like math, but I'm telling you, advertising is testing. You start doing it and you say, oh, okay, this worked. Why didn't it work? And you're never going to know exactly why, but you have to sit and do that process, analyze, okay, why did it work? Didn't it work? And then retry it. Sometimes it's a time of year thing. So if you try the next month, that ad will work. Sometimes it's luck thing. You just get, the first person who sees your ad, they click on it and they buy it. But the likelihood of them buying it means your product page has got to look pretty too, right? They've got to kind of know what they're getting. And then naturally things just increase. The thing I love about low content books is I love you, RJ. RJ Martinez, is that his last name? I saw his ad of what he had, like, what did he say? He had 39,000 products. And on Christmas, he made like half of what I did. I didn't have 39,000 products. I'm willing to give up control, but I'm not willing for 39,000 of blind faith throwing things up there. Even if somebody else made it, I had to pay somebody else to get it. I can't do that. But what I like about low content books is you can definitely focus in and find answers to people's problems. Whereas a shirt is like just a statement. It's not an answer to somebody's problem. The price point is also great. It's 10 and under. Selling someone something for 10 and under is easier than selling a $20 t-shirt. So there's that too. So I like low content books because I can focus in a little bit more and not have to spend my time making 39,000 of anything. Now, eventually, maybe I'll have 39,000 low content books, but that's time. That's not like in a year or two. That's more like 10 years. I don't know. I'm trying to focus on about 20 to 40 books a month. A week. 20 to 40 books a week, and with one very detailed one. So I have a bunch of stuff that I just sitting around that I needed to make quick covers for, interiors, and then I'm trying to make a very detailed interior. So that's kind of my goal. I don't know if I'll get my one pretty one this week because I have not worked on it at all. But you gotta have goals. Questions? Anything? Anybody? All right, Laura and oh, I'm Rand. Sorry. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.